were just talking about this thing that, that I guess that
specialness is what
yeah,
we're talking about.
It's not special. It's basically just having the guts to try it.
right.
I think anyone can do it. It's just a matter of trying it. But you have to actually learn as you go along. It becomes a method. It becomes a science.
I would even go further in that. I think that the idea of specialness is one of the most infectious, disastrous ideas you can hold of a human being. Because it immediately places people on different levels. And I don't think there's anything special about anyone. With all the respect of both of you and anyone watching this, I think that if there is specialness, it's kind of an abuse of that word, because we're all exceptional. Every single person has got the ability to do whatever they like.
I guess it's about finding your own, for me it's about knowing what your own magic is and playing with that and seeing and discovering that. And I guess that I guess it plays out for people differently. But I guess this notion here about that kindness and the infectiousness of kindness, is that what you've actually found? Is it something that you found that people, everybody, that people that you meet, something will happen or something happens to them and then they're touched by it and then they can't help but reciprocate or give? Or
if it weren't infectious, we wouldn't be the group that we are today. Right. I can definitely put down the infectiousness as the kind of being the responsible factor that we have achieved the things that we've achieved.
Right. Also enlightening people to the ability that they have. It's like the number of CEOs that I've been on the phone to and saying, well, you could do that. And they go, what? So yeah, you've got slips there, you've got, the things, you could do that. You could send the stuff out of your warehouse today, and we could be giving this stuff away on Monday. You can actually do that. And they don't realize that they could do that. And they said, well, what can we give you? I said, well, have a look around. Pick your phone up now and have a look around. Have a look around in your, there's got to be some stuff in there that you would be happy for us to have, that people will really be pleased to receive. Have a look around. Right. And then all of a sudden the light comes on and they realize, hey, I can actually do this. Right. And they come back again.
Right. So one of the things that's coming through to me here is that I suspect there comes a moment where somebody's got to suspend their belief for a moment, their beliefs, because one of the most dangerous things, the things that really cripples people, is all the noise, all the nonsense that they've been told about themselves, about the life itself, about everybody else, right? So there comes a point where I guess that there's got to be at that moment of silence in which you just, maybe just
let's take a leap of faith.
Yeah.
For a moment, this is where the actor's if that he has on his hats that keep getting stolen. You've got to
got stolen last week. Right?
You've got to go put yourself. You've got to start behaving in a way that you wouldn't behave. So you're the person who can do this thing. Maybe that's not who you are right now, but you're going to start pretending that you are. You're going to start making the movements that you are that kind of person. And something happens when you start to walk a mile in the shoes of the person who can do that. You start to get treated like the person who can do that. You start to get the results of the person who can do that. But there is a shift. You've got to decide that if you don't think you can do these things, you've got to decide that you can. And it really is at that decision point, the mental stage where you say, no, I'm going to pretend, even though I don't necessarily believe it 100%, I've got no evidence to suggest, I'm going to play that role. And something weird does happen when you start playing that role and you start imagining that you're this other.
It's rare for these guys to get a call like the ones that we make to them. But sometimes it's hard to get to them. We have a sort of find the farmer philosophy where we need to find the source of something. And but once we get to them, it can be a lot of fun for them. And the infection of the fun spreads when they realize, hey, I can do this or I can do that. But it's actually waking them up to that reality, that they have the ability to do things that you wouldn't have imagined. Right. And you can actually do something fun with it. You're not just going to leave it and sitting in the garage. You're going to have a party and hand this stuff out. You are going to do a video of it. The people are going to see this thing happen. And it's something that they feel like they want to be part of.
Right. Can you tell us a little bit about that then? So for people who are new or looking in for the first time in terms of the kindness offensive, I was just about to ask a crazy question. What does a typical day look like? I can just imagine that might. But how does it actually work? Does somebody ring you up and say, "Can you help us with this?" Or do you, in the morning, have an idea? Hey, could we do this? What's it? How does it work?
We start with an idea. How we get that idea is almost incidental. Right. I candidly say that some of our best ideas have been phoned in by people we've never met. Right. Who said, "You should do this," or "How about that?" Some of the ideas come to us, but whatever happens, we start with an idea, and that idea is a goal, and we'll work out that meticulously. So if it is soup for soup kitchens or food for soup kitchen, how much do we need? exactly what would that look like. Can it all be bananas? Well, no, it can't all be bananas because bananas go off in 5 minutes, right? So we work out the detail of that idea, so we know exactly, it becomes crystal in our minds
Very important.
what exactly we're after.
Right.
So if it's toys, how many toys? What kind of toys? What ages? You know?
Right.
It's not just, because imagine if you're the toy guy and I'm saying, hey, we just need some toys, your first question is going to be how many, what ages, you know, what's the price
Yeah.
point.
So we're ready for them.
So
Right.
we crystallize that idea into a real understanding of exactly what constitutes a win. What happens now, we know when we've missed and when we've hit. We get a clear, sometimes we even build a model. So like for this building, for example, when we were looking for this building, we actually built a little doll's house with the dimensions and everything, really focus on what that is. Then we decide it's already happened. Then we act as if that is a reality, and then we seek to put it into place. So then we call up anyone we can think of, we'll stop people in the street if we need to, but we ask, do you have the building that we're looking for? Do you have the building? It might be him or her or them over there. And we keep going, and the analogy I always use on this, which again, to steal Rob's words here, is you've got to put yourself in the I've lost my keys space. So you've lost your keys, right? So I'm looking in the drawers, I'm looking in my pockets, jacket I wore yesterday. You're looking everywhere. Eventually you're looking in the fridge,
Right.
You're looking at where you walk
Right.
to the car.
I like it.
At no point during the lost my keys phase do you think to yourself, maybe I didn't have keys. That never occurs
You
to
know
you.
you had them.
You
know
keep
it's there.
looking.
Beautiful.
So we put ourselves, or attempt, we act as if when we're not there, or we try to be there, and often we get there, where we're looking for our lost keys. It's not a question of if they're there, or why should they be there. All of that's secondary. We've lost our keys. In this case, it might be a lorry load of food, or 10 lorry loads worth of toys, or a building. But we know it's there. No question that it's not there. That's never a question. Never do we not have keys. And we keep looking until we find the keys.
Right.
And we generally find the keys.
Right. And my mind now wants to ask some of those practical questions. How many of you are there?
A fluctuating number.
Right.
I'd say in the core team there are. I think nice thing about the kindness offensive is people can come and
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
And we have no formalized structure
Yeah.
really to speak of. But the core team is about 4 or 5 guys at any given time.
Yeah.
Often it can end up resting on the shoulders of one guy. Sometimes
There
the
are
whole
people-
kindness offensive is Rob on the phone doing his thing. There are 6,000 of us though in total.
When you say 6,000, and what people who are kind of signed up as kindness
Yep, that's
offensive?
right. People who,
Kind.
6,000 people who, when we need a bit of muscle, I'll put it like that, and we've got all this stuff pooling in every
Right.
direction, we can send a message out to 6,000 different people and say, listen, we need a graphic designer, some guys to lift some boxes, and someone with a van. And
You can
they,
join on the website,
Right.
and if anyone watching wants to take part, there's
Yeah.
an easy place there on the website. It's thekindnessoffensive.com.
Yeah.
And you put your email address in,
Yeah.
and if you want to offer a service to us, you just send us a message and let us know that you do a certain thing, and we'll find a place and place and time where that can happen.
I'd say the minimum number, sometimes it is rust on Rob's shoulders,
Yeah.
or sometimes it can be battered over to me, but really a minimum of 2.
Yeah.
I think the magic starts happening when 2 or more are on it together, and that's when things
Very
really start to
encouraging.
move.
It's a competition as well. I mean, we hadn't done anything for a while, and we didn't have an event happening, but he'd seen a really nice dustbin, which looked like a rocket, that would fit in our bus, because we've got the bus converted into a
Yeah,
50
I'd love
seater.
for us to, if we get time, to show people the bus, if we get a chance, if we get a moment. Yeah.
You can have a look.
Yeah.
And basically we thought, well, what else do we need? And we thought, well, a rowing machine would be fun. And we just had a competition to see who could get what coming through the door first. And it was just practice. And we got both. You can see the rocket is now installed in the bus, and the rowing machine is out back on the side. And it's like sometimes it's a competition, and it's a game to play to see who can actually
Competitive
land this thing.
kindness.
Competitive kindness.
Competitive kindness. Absolutely. Well, it's quite striking. And you touched on, you said that there's no, I want to find out a little bit, because some of the people who will be watching this on my channel are people who are starting or growing their own business. I've got a website called soultrader.biz, and many people are wanting to follow their heart, do something that they care about, and very often they're people who are wanting to help others in some way, shape or form. Tell us a little bit about, as a business, and that's a funny word, as an entity, how would you set stuff up as an entity? Because again, people's minds get all befuddled with all of that kind of stuff.
Well, one of the interesting things about us, is that we are not a business, a charity, a social enterprise.
I love it.
We have no structure.
Good stuff.
So if you wanted to sue the kindness offensive, you'd have a hard time. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have a bank account. We don't have. Well, we have a postal address. This is just sitting in one of the.
Wow.
We've got 6 postal addresses at the moment as it goes, but we're not actually codified in any way. And so the first thing I'd probably say to someone is, oh, how do we do this and my business and stuff, is that there are ways of accomplishing things outside of the channels that we normally get pushed along.
We work with a lot of other charities. We have different charities that will sort of distribute toys to kids at Christmas and that sort of stuff. And they know that. They know the ground rules and they know where they are. We don't need to do that. But one of the reasons we haven't registered in that way is because we want to be an example to people that anyone can do it. And there's a lot of people who say, well, if I was a registered charity, I'd be able to do this. Or if I became a social enterprise, I'd be able to do that. And they don't bother doing what it is because they feel that that's an obstacle.
If I got the lawyers in on my dream, we'd be sorted. It's basically the shorthand for it. But, you know, it's been our experience that, you know...
I get the feeling that it's very, as you say, it's very deliberate. I get the feeling that, you know, the phrase again that just came into my mind was that, and it's a lovely compliment. You know, people say that you ain't playing. You're playing, but you ain't playing at the same time is what strikes me, right? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you guys aren't playing. You're very, very clear what you're doing here. And that you're doing it from heart. You genuinely are doing it from heart. And I think, you know, one of the things that for me is that I love just, excuse me, telling people when I see something, I just love telling people what I see. And I think that you guys are just doing something that's absolutely magical here. And I think that if there's anything that's a surprise, it's just how few visibly, maybe, you know, lots of people are doing magical things, so I'm not doing that down. But very often in terms of entities or in terms of businesses, how little we just try this, just to, I mean, has this journey, has the whole bus journey has it been a surprise to you? Have you been surprised of it? No.
It didn't surprise me. No, I knew it would happen. I knew it would work. None of it surprises me. I'm amazed by it, and I'm enthralled with the beauty of it.
Spoken as a true bus driver. As a passenger, it's been pretty surprising and phenomenal every stop on the route.
But that doesn't surprise me. It surprises me if something doesn't work.
Right.
I'm surprised if we can't put it together in one day. I'm surprised.
What was the moment? I want to know the moment in your life when you decided that you were going to sing to a different tune. I want to know the moment. Was it something that you read? Because was it your own life journey? You know, because sometimes people can look in at somebody, anybody, and think that they are magical, they did this. We talked about this a little bit before, isn't it? And I always think that when you're reading, for example, people's biographies, read the bit before they were famous or well known and so on. Read that, you know, all